industrial IoT using the NI graphical interface system. IoT is nothing but it is interconnection of Internet of Things. Here things are nothing but the objects. By the year 2020, more than 30 billion of objects are going to be covered under IoT. So, based on the significance of this IoT, our management decided to conduct a faculty development program. So for this, the departments of Electronics and Communication Engineering and the Electrical and Electronics Engineering took the initiation for conducting this FDP on IoT. So for this, EPITA, Andhra Pradesh Information Technology Academy, took the collaboration for this initiation. So for this, we are grateful to all the members of EPITA and the Department of EC and EEE. So once again, I welcome you all for this useful sessions. Let me invite Mr. Vinny Patro, Senior Consultant, Andhra Pradesh Information Technology Academy. Sir, please come here. And Dr. K.V. Radhakrishna Garu, the Director of EPITA, and Mr. Vasanth Kumar, Senior Applications Engineer, VI Solutions Bangalore, and Head of the Department of ECE, Elliot Ramakrishna Garu, and Head of the Department of EEE, Sri Y.C. Ashok Kumar Garu. So thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Vinny Patro, Senior Consultant, EPITA, to speak few words on this occasion.
A very good morning, one and all. First of all, a nice weather in the morning, and I see we've waited for some of the people to arrive. Very good to see all of you here. And first and the foremost, to talk about the program that we've had and that what we are conducting today and the next 3 days that you're going to be part of is one of the state-of-the-art and world-class experience program. If you look at the kind of support we're trying to provide from the government of Andhra Pradesh through APITA in terms of getting some of the partners like NI, National Instruments, which is one of the world's renowned as far as industrial applications are concerned, and alongside with the kind of support in terms of the infrastructure or instruments required for a practical exposure for the training is also we've taken it very seriously, understanding the fact that a lot of theoretical programs which undergo faculty or students undergo may not be serving the purpose, and rather we've identified activity-based programs are the ones which would serve the purpose. With this objective, we from the government of Andhra Pradesh are now looking at a lot of new areas, and the areas that are going to be the future. The technologies that did not exist yesterday and that are existing today, and that probably the technologies that will exist tomorrow. So we are largely looking at those areas to ensure that we have a very good student capital. When I say a good number of students coming out understanding the new areas, right? So I would share my experience recently, with one of the visits that I had with an embedded systems company. It's a 30-year-old embedded systems company, but started in some mid-80s. Later, when the VLSI had come into picture, they've gone into VLSI, and now they call themselves an IoT company, right? So the company has taken a completely, rather it's changed, though the name of the company is the same, but they've changed their way in terms of implementing everything. So the company's managing director was telling us, if they had not developed their own manpower, whether it is their employees or whether their management itself or the people who are part of the research in the company, he was telling us, if they had not developed that ability to learn new areas, the ability to look at the new technologies, their company would have got closed in the mid-90s itself, right? So what he was trying to tell us, that the companies like many of those, you know, who started in those days, which are into electronics manufacturing or fabrication or embedded systems, most of them who've not been able to understand how the change had taken place, most of them got closed. Whereas companies who have understood, okay, this is the future, they've moved on, right? So largely we are talking about today Internet of Things, right? And the Internet of Things have now not only taken up a huge part of the industrial revolution, but also it's a part of a huge consumer revolution, right? There's a consumer industrial Internet of Things, and there is an industrial Internet of Things, right? So things are moving towards a lot into automation, right? So this company was in fact talking to us in terms of their difficulty in getting right students into their projects, into their companies. You know what they started trying to do is that they started recruiting students, and they're spending almost about 6 months to train the students on IoT related projects that they have. That's when I realized if the students had to be trained at the college level, people like you have to come forward in imbibing the knowledge in yourself, in understanding this is a new technology, and you have to be up and there. When you are up and there, automatically you flow the same knowledge and the same expertise to the student level, where the students at least get to hear about the new areas, or get to at least work on the new areas, and moreover his exposure towards, okay, what I studied maybe in the first year when I joined, maybe there was no Internet of Things, maybe by now I am coming into final year, Internet of Things have picked up, right? Which means that I have to keep learning. I think that is something that is missing in the students' ability, what I feel, ability to learn new things. At least if we are able to, like say faculty like you who go back and tell the students, look, things are changing. What you've undergone about 3-4 years back, which we were talking about a lot, depending on the transit uses and so on and so forth. Now things are changing. Now the usage of transit use itself is changing a lot into industrial IoT, for example. Because I'm focusing more on industrial IoT because NI and next 3 days program is largely focused on IoT, right? So our objective from the government of Andhra Pradesh through Andhra Pradesh Information Technology Academy is to ensure that everybody who comes out of the college have an ability to learn new technologies, because technology keeps changing. It's exponentially changing. I'm sure you know how things have happened in the last 10 years. Largely, if I have to tell you, the generation that is coming up today are very different. I mean, a kid at the age of 6 and 7, they use technology before they get educated. With us, it's completely different. We used to use technology stuff, like mobile phones, for example. We used to use mobile phones after, education rather. For them, they've started using technology. They'll get introduced to technology first, then later education. So imagine the kind of change that's happening both at the level of students' mind, at the same time at the industry, through industrial revolution. If that change, if we cannot catch up, especially if students cannot catch up, I think we would have to see a huge demographic disaster in terms of not being able to get these guys a livelihood or an opportunity to earn money or an opportunity for a good job. Moreover, we may not be able to build good industries and so on and so forth. If we have to look at it, this whole the exercise that we do from the government of Andhra Pradesh is just not a matter of the fact that we'd want to reach out to the students and make them learn. At the end of the day, if the students are coming out better through faculty members like you, ultimately these students are available for the good companies. Automatically the companies would grow. So it's at the end of the day, you are the pillars of a contribution to the gross domestic product of the country in terms of producing the better companies and a lot of good output. If I have to put it in another way, if you are talking about a lot of these new initiatives of industries being set up, manufacturing companies being set up in Andhra Pradesh or otherwise in other parts of the country, if you look at it, if they all require a wonderful manpower, and you are the pillars to create that manpower. If the manpower is not created, companies may not grow. So you are rather a most important segment of this whole chain as faculty members. If that chain performs better, automatically the gross domestic product of the country in terms of manufacturing or in terms of people, the students going out and working in various areas, especially I'm talking about industrial IoT or industries per se, right? So what I feel, the faculty development program that we have taken up today, or the ones that we're going to take up as in the future, will actually act as one of the most important pillars for the complete society, for the complete economy of the country. And I would want to tell you that feel that purpose, because you are very important element in that. And when you feel that purpose, I'm sure you are much intelligent in terms of understanding the new areas with the kind of fundamentals that you have. And it's once you go back and tell the students, and I'm sure they should be able to inspired by your knowledge and should be able to inspired by your audacity and the exposure that you have towards the new technologies. Right. With that note, I conclude. Thanks so much for joining us for this program, and I hope to see that we would be able to produce wonderful results going back to the institutions wherever you are coming from. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir, for your motivational speech, and thanks for remembering our duties well. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. K.V. Radhakrishna Garu, Director, EPITA, to speak few words on this occasion.
Good morning, one and all. So last month we have received a request from ECE and EEE departments to conduct Industrial IoT workshop in Andhra Layala Institute of Engineering and Technology. Then we have contacted NI for its collaboration, for its help, and then NI has immediately given positive response. And instead of conducting only to the faculty of Andhra Layala Institute of Engineering and Technology, we have taken a decision to also invite faculty members from other colleges and conduct this workshop. And around 43 faculty members from 17 colleges have registered for this workshop. And just to give a brief introduction on what NI is, so National Instruments is a 40-year-old company headquartered in Austin, Texas, and it's mainly producing automated test systems and virtual software. And some of their major products are Labview, Multisim, and real-time embedded industry controllers and real-time data acquisition systems. We have started our collaboration with National Instrument in December 2005, and since then we have trained 900 students on Labview across AP, and since last year we also have collaborated for Industrial IoT program, and this is the first faculty development workshop that we are conducting on NI IoT platform. And by the end of this month we also have a plan to start this training for the students across AP, especially in the colleges that have registered with EPITA. EPITA, Andhra Pradesh Information Technology Academy, it is we are authorized Labview Academy School, NI authorized Labview Academy School. We can train and certify students on Labview. And from this year onwards, we also started this IoT program, Industrial IoT program. And we have acquired all the equipment that is necessary for conducting this workshop across the state. And as part of this 2 days workshop, what we have planned is to provide awareness on NI IoT platform and also practical experience, practical training on NI IoT platform, especially on MyRio, and also on various sensor systems and how you connect those sensor systems and all. And I hope you will enjoy your workshop, this 2 days workshop, and disseminate this knowledge to your students. As Mr. Patro said, it is very important to disseminate the knowledge to the students. Only then the companies, the society will benefit. Otherwise, it's of no use. So dissemination is the most important factor, and I hope you will enjoy this workshop and disseminate the knowledge, take the knowledge back to your colleges and share with your students. And I also thank the college management, Andhra Loyola Institute of Engineering and Technology, for hosting this workshop, and we look forward to conduct this kind of workshops in the future also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for taking the initiation for conducting this FDP on behalf of EPITA. Now I request Mr. Ramakrishna Garu, Head of the Department ECE, to speak few words.
Good morning, one and all, especially the authorities of the EPITA, Mr. Patro and Mr. Radhakrishna Garu, as well as the senior trainer, Mr. Vasanth, and my colleague, the head of the department, EEE, Mr. Chiranjeevi, and my remaining faculty friends here. A warm welcome to all. We are looking for such kind of the practical exposure want to share to the students. And this is, I cannot do directly to the students. So you are the persons who are in to transmit this kind of the technology to the students. So that is why we approached the EPITA to organize such kind of the programs. In earlier also, like we had planned for such programs with the association of the various companies as surrounded by the Vijayawada, and this is what we are trying for it. And based on this faculty, I hope you can learn good things about the NI as well as the Labview, and we can implement, we can transmit to the students. Thank you one and all for this, as well as a special thank to Mr. Radhakrishna for giving this opportunity to host this program in our college. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Vasanth Kumar Garu, the Senior Applications Engineer, VI Solutions Bangalore, to take over the session. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nice meeting you. Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, very good morning, everyone. Yes, first of all, I want to extend my heartily thanks to the all the institutions. Actually, this is not an effort of a single institution, frankly speaking. This is an effort of many institutions together to bring some knowledge to you people, a very handful of people to learn the future. Frankly speaking, this is going to be the future. We are going to learn the future. At least the first step. This is going to be the first step, because it's going to be a 2-day workshop, and it is nearly 10:30 now, and we are going to extend it till 5 o'clock or something. So we don't have much time. Maximum around 15 hours or 16 hours we have. No, we'll try to interact as much as possible and try to get things as much as shared. Yes, fine. So first of all, I want to extend the thanks to the host, because that's very important. Frankly speaking, host is one thing that will be, providing all the supports and everything. I really thank, Andhra Loyola Institution of Engineering and Technology for that. Thank you so much. And EPITA, okay, I really, want to extend the thanks, because they were really, open enough to do this knowledge sharing to all over this state. Okay, so on this regard, right, I also want to thank National Instruments, who are really supporting through, hardwares and everything. So on this occasion, VA Solution are, really, proud to be here. So to share the knowledge, yeah, let them take a seat. Sit along, yeah. Yes, so I hope most of you know National Instruments before. Okay, how many of you have heard about this? Anybody? Okay, I would like to know who are not aware of National Instruments. Have anyone here who don't have any idea about National Instruments? Because 2 days, frankly speaking, these 2 days are very vital for anybody, frankly speaking, because we people live for 60 years, am I right? So approx, okay? So you people are spending some 2 days, a vital 2 days in your lifetime here. So you should know why to do this, why not to do this, what is the motive, how this is going to be helpful in your future, how this is going to be helpful in your career, and this is going to make any changes in your life, or your career. That's very important, frankly speaking, okay? So how many of you don't know about National Instruments? I can just give a brief introduction to them. Anybody like that? So most of you are, aware of National Instruments. So it is, a MNC company, which is, headquartered at Texas, US. Okay. So it is ultimately what they actually do is they provide some hardware
and some programming language to control these hard disk, so that you can try doing all your automations, industrial stuffs and everything. And ultimately they support multi-domains. The industries they support is around 75,000 industries they support over the globe. And in India they support around 25,000 plus companies. Okay, so there are a lot of companies actually working on this NI technology, frankly speaking. But ultimately one limitation I feel is, this is not actually inclusive in most of the curriculum. So most of the students are not actually aware of this technology, frankly speaking. So that's somewhere, people make it at two different levels. So academy level and somewhere industry level. So people don't try to touch the industry level. That's actually bad. The students who are trained in academies actually move to industries and they try to serve the industry. So I always believe that students should be actually taught the content which are actually being utilized in industries. Okay, on this regard, you will be the key. Frankly speaking, I couldn't go to each and every student or each and every college and student and try to train them. Ultimately, what I can do from my side is I can train you people so that you people can just do the same for your students, frankly speaking. So ultimately, we are trying to develop the next generation of India, frankly speaking, because IoT is going to be the base of the future, as I told you. We will be discussing in depth on this, how the future is going to change and everything. We'll be discussing on this. On this regard, let me just introduce myself to a very short brief note. Okay, my name is Vasanth Kumar. Okay, I'm a senior application engineer from VI Solutions. So hope everyone know National Instrument, but anybody heard about VI Solutions before? Nobody? Maybe one or two, because if you have attended some more trainings of National Instrument before, you would have come to know about that. Fine. VI Solution are technical service partner of National Instrument in India only. Okay, so any technical requirement for NI, National Instrument, will be supported by VI Solution. Okay, we are like sister company of them. So we work only on NI technology. So we are a little strong on our technical base on NI technology. We work only on NI technology. Frankly speaking, we are headquartered. VI Solution is headquartered in Bangalore, and we also have one more branch at Chennai, Tamil Nadu, actually speaking, Tamil Nadu. So we are working towards many colleges all over India. Okay, we have at least reached around 98 colleges. Okay, overall we have just reached 98 colleges only in South India I'm talking about. So in North India we also have reached many colleges, but frankly speaking, compared to South India, North India don't have much awareness on NI technology and everything. So we are really much reached South India, most of the parts of the South India. Okay, but we are actually service partners for entire India. Okay, so about this, frankly speaking, we also do some industrial projects and even academic projects, and we also support faculties for their their PhD works and everything technically, not guiding or something. Like technically, if they have any problems, we try to sort out. Anything on NI technology, technically you want some problem, okay, we are always open to help you people. Yes, so fine. Let me just have a different types of domains what we actually try to cover. Okay, so these are the different types of domains we actually cover when it comes to workshops or any technical support through NI technology. There's one more way of knowing what are the different domains you can try working with NI technology. Okay, when I told you VI Solution works only with NI technology, these are different domains of trainings or technical support we will provide in NI technology only. Okay, so these are different types of around 19 to 20 different types of new technologies which we are trying to work with. So which means that clearly shows that NI can be reaching these domains. You might be one among this domain. You might, your PhD work, your students work, or any BTech projects can be in this level. So you'll be, you can try working towards in this. Okay, and I also want to know how many of you have used Labview before? Labview before. Good, one. Only one? So most of them are new to Labview, is it like that? So ultimately programming in Labview will be a little required for this session, because we'll be knowing how to write a very small application and try to use an IoT technology, or what is the procedures behind to develop an IoT technology. Everything will be actually discussed. Yes? Okay, so I'll just, okay, so this is for your reference. Fine. And actually speaking, we are involving the 9th one. This is what we are actually going to work with. This workshop is going to be basically on that. So we are going to work with IoT technology and the recent trends, how the industries have evolved. This actually is not only about, IoT, it's about industrial IoT we are trying to work here. So how the industries have groomed up to work on, IoT technology and everything will be shown. And there are multiple domain people, frankly speaking, either from EC department or EEE department, doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how it's going to be useful in, a generic way, and even specifically to some extent I can show some applications that, how this is being utilized in your specific domain, okay? And one more thing, I want to say, frankly to you all, one thing, you can be more spontaneous enough to just, question me at any point of time. Because this session, I don't want it to be more theoretical. Frankly speaking, I'm not good at handling theoretical sessions, frankly speaking. Because I get bored. I myself get bored. How can I make sure you people will be interested towards that? Actually, I'm not, much interested on, doing much of a theoretical thing. Apart from that, frankly, I believe practical sessions are more useful for you in your studies, frankly speaking. That's what I believe. Because I'm being, engineer, graduate, BTech graduate from Anna University. Okay, so I know how the actual syllabus are framed, and I've just moved into industry. I know what actual industries are working. So I've been in both the sectors. I've been in education sector for studying purpose, and I haven't even moved to industries. So I know the actual gap between them. So I'm trying to bridge them by trying to provide some trainings and everything. Getting it? So excuse me. So on this regard, I want you all to be more spontaneous enough to just, interrupt me at any point of time. So how the session is going to be is, we have 2 days, and I'll be trying to show you something, a demonstration. After this, just give me 15 minutes. I'll just give a very brief introduction to Labview. And the hardware also, Myrio hardware also to some extent, okay. Let me, brief the agenda. So very morning session, I'm just planning to do, basic Labview, so that you'll at least get, habituated to the environment of Labview. So above that, we'll be just trying to work with the hardware. There's a hardware called Myrio, we'll be introducing that, I'll be introducing that. So we'll be working on that. Then we'll be going for, sensor interfaces. And tomorrow morning fresh, we'll be, saying how this, whatever you learned today, right, Labview plus the hardware, NI hardware, Myrio hardware, right, how this is going to be evolving into a IoT technology, we'll be seeing that in depth, okay. So today it's going to be just a basic things of, how to start working with Labview, and what is, this Myrio, and how it is supposed to be handled properly with sensors and everything. So how is the acquisition happening, how does, generation of things is happening, how automation is supposed to be done, everything will be discussed. Yes, so this is a brief agenda I'm just trying to do, and tomorrow it is going to be a complete, IoT sector, where we'll be, trying to design some application and try to work it on IoT only completely, okay. On this regard, I also suggest you all to, bring your phones, your smartphones tomorrow, so we'll try to control any of the actuators or acquire the information from the sensor to your phones wirelessly and allow it to make, a complete IoT system. So I would suggest you bring it, and I'll just try to share an app also for you that. So that installation also should happen in your phones. Apart from that, there are some installation happened in your computers. Okay, so at least for tomorrow, I want you all to bring laptops if possible. The reason is we are trying to work with IoT, where wireless communication systems will be come into picture. So in this regard, right, we need some laptops that provide Wi-Fi connections. Okay, at least for that reason, I would suggest you to if possible, I'm not trying to force anyone. If possible, try to bring some laptops. So that will be more helpful for having a proper demonstration on your hands-on. Okay, so fine. Yes, so I'll just move on. So any doubts? This is a brief introduction. I'm just directly going to jump into Labview. Any doubts in this? No doubts in the agenda or something? No doubts, you're fine with this? And one more thing, I want you all to be more proactive. The reason I'll tell you why it is going to be little proactive, I need you to all be, okay. So this is going to be 2 days of session, okay, and I'm the only resource person you'll be having, okay. So anything happens, I'll be the only one person who will be handling, okay. Maybe it is boring, I don't know, okay. Maybe if you feel bored, right, I don't want you to get very much bored, okay. So what I want you to do is, I'll be asking some, some questions that might be, very complicated or technical or silly or sometimes even on cinema, okay. I just ask any question, okay. I want to be more proactive to just answer. Sometimes it even used to be silly question, frankly speaking, okay. But that silly question will have a silly answer, frankly speaking, okay. I want you to come up, only reason is I want you to be awake, okay. So I know how difficult it is to watch a face like this, for 2 days, completely. That's a little hectic job for you. I know, I'm really sorry about that, yeah. Fine, so on this, we'll just directly move into this, and also I suggest you all to come up with your own ideas whether this is possible or not. If you're not, open enough to ask in front of everyone, you can just even, try to contact me personally. I think I just displayed my contact details. I'll just anyway display it again once again anyway in the end of the session. So you can just, try to ask, this is the project I'm trying to do, this is the PhD work I'm trying to do, is it, NI hardware is available, is there, possible through this domain, this is the domain I'm trying to work, is it possible, I want to interface this hardware with this Labview, or anything based on NI technology. If you have any doubt technically, just try to post it to me, I'll just try to sort it out. Yes, if not, I can't do it, I'll just try to, forward it to any of the experts from VI Solutions so they can handle it. Okay, so basically you can just try to put out, what is that, image processing, embedded system, VLSI design, and IoT technology, these kind of doubts you can just put it out to me. So if there any other domain this is out of my scope technically, so I can just forward it to some exact expert who can help you out. Yes, fine. So I want you all to be more comfortable with me. Okay, be more comfortable. So if you're and frankly speaking, if you're a little bored, you can just let me know. So if you're little not focused or you're a little distracted, we can have a 5 minutes or 10 minutes break and we can just assemble back. So I want to make sure that this is going to be more interactive and more useful and efficient training. Yes, so it's not just for namesake or just for number sake. Okay, just for real hands-on. I just really want to do it, and we'll just start up with basics, following that basics of the hardware. First basics of Labview, basics of hardware. Okay, we'll be distributing the hardware and the sensor kits. So you'll be having a proper hands-on. You can just call me out for any of the doubts you really have. Yes. And do anyone have a laptop now? So who will be requiring installation? Just raise your hands. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Okay. Then many more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'll just ask some volunteers. We have some volunteers. We'll just ask them to come to you and they'll do the installation for your computers. If you have DVD driver, that'd be more. Fine. Laptops with DVD drivers. Good. So you can do it faster. Others, I'll just try to provide a pen drive. So all the contents will be available in the pen drive. You can try doing it. And I'll be giving the content only for these 2 days of training. So that will be more efficient for you. Actually speaking, NI has a lot of domains, as I showed you, right? A lot of domains they try to work ultimately. No. So I can't try down installing all these softwares to you. That will not be needed, and the content itself is gonna consume 50 GB, nearly 48 GB of content, which is unnecessary doing it. So let us first start this, and if needed, I'll just copy the content to you. You can just do it, and you can just try to work that. Yeah, fine. And coming to the universally how NI is being working towards industries. This one just a brief illustration, a pictorial illustration of companies NI is actually having a tie-up and working with this. And these are some big shots. Frankly speaking, these are some big shots. Usually if you see there are some big shot names like Siemens and even Philips, Fuji. Okay, so these are some big shots. You can actually speaking, NI also works with Boeing, NASA, and all aeronautical departments. Actually, they are really good in acquisition. Actually, let me tell you what NI is actually towards. Okay, so they are very much interested in new technologies. Frankly speaking, okay, so any new technology evolves, they try to involve somehow into their domains. Okay, where they can reach. That's the reason. How many of you heard about IoT for the very first time? When did you hear about the IoT very first time? When did you hear about IoT in the very first time? In workshops, right? Which year? Recently this has been evolved, am I right? So when did you hear about this? Maybe 2 years before? Or 1 year before? Last year? I also believe that in the year of 2016 it really groomed very well. So that's the reason everyone came to know about IoT. Trust me, NI has released the hardware of IoT in the year of 2013. Okay, which means that nearly 4 to 5 years before, we people actually were not even known about what is IoT. Okay, so they have already released the hardware, they started working towards it. That's how I'm saying that they're actually moving towards the future. Okay, so I believe being in industry, right, and I actually works towards most of the recent technologies. Okay, most of the recent technologies trying to reach, and frankly speaking, they are trying to work with 5G also. Okay, they are trying to develop 5G also, and they are trying to come up with some hardware that is going to support 5G. Getting it? Okay, so these are some big shots that will be happening. And moreover, I'll tell you one thing. Since this is not in your curriculum, many people are not aware that where Labview is being utilized, where NI technology is being used in industries. Frankly, there's a very big question mark. Trust me, in India there are 25,000 companies from small scale to, MNC type companies I'm talking about. So there are totally overall 25,000 companies approximately using NI technology. All over the globe there are around 75,000 companies that are using NI technology in one or the other way. Okay, maybe testing, maybe automation, maybe IOT, maybe anything else. Okay, even image processing they use Labview. Okay, trust me. Okay, so actually speaking, NI technology try to work with multi-domains, not only electric or electronic. Trust me, they are even working with civil departments. Frankly speaking, civil engineering department. Okay, so it's actually common for all engineerings, frankly. Okay, I'll just move. So let me just go to the basics. We'll just start up with the basics. Okay, and meanwhile, excuse me. So just inform them, you can just keep your laptops ready. So they'll just come over and they'll try to do the installation. Make sure you'll do your hands-on in your laptop. I believe the reason is, once you move out from here, right, you should carry over for your actual career or for your students and everything. So I'll try to have a backup of this. And I'll do one more thing. I'll try to save the code, whatever I'm showing you demo, right, I'll save it. Okay, I have a separate folder called content. I'll save it and I'll try to share those to you, so that will be having a proper reference for you for what we did in session wise. That'll be fine for you. Okay, fine. So basically, first of all, let me introduce what is Labview. Okay, Labview is a programming language. Okay, for all the NI hardware. So I was trying to talk about NI technology. Okay, so they provide a lot of hardware, as I told you. So these hardware are actually programmed by Labview software. So ultimately, you master the Labview software programmatically, how to do the program, everything. You master the Labview software. In other words, you'll be, indirectly you'll be mastering the NI hardware, because when you can program these hardware, right, ultimately you'll be started dominating the industrial technologies. Okay, so basically, so if you want to work with NI technology in full-fledged, the place where you're supposed to start up is Labview. Okay, so Labview is a programming language. Okay, so that allows you to control these hardware, NI hardware, which indeed will be used in all the industries, frankly speaking. Okay, so this Labview basically stands for Laboratory Virtual Instrumentation Engineering Workbench. Okay, so when I just try to elaborate it, what actually they are. Okay, so I'll try to put it in the reverse. What is my workbench? Let me try to go in reverse. Let me go in reverse. That actually will help you. So what is our workbench? It's a bench. Am I right? This is a bench. And this is for purpose of working. You think this and Labview same? Not really. It actually means it's a platform. Okay, it's a platform that serves for engineering purpose. So actually that's the reason we say that it's an engineering workbench, which means it's a platform for all the engineers. It doesn't matter what domain you're actually coming from. Trust me, even your textile industry and even your automobile, even your aeronautical people, even civil engineering, mechanical engineering, strength measurement, and everyone, every domain are using Labview. Okay, in depth. Okay, so it's an engineering workbench, and basically it talks about virtual instrumentation. What is virtual instrumentation? What is virtual? This is what I told you, right? I tried to ask some small, easy questions. I wanted to be more proactive to just answer that. Good. No physical. Good. Later. Great. So if you can monitor the physical instrument on your computers, that's one application kind of thing of virtual. I really appreciate that. Okay. So actually, virtual terms, anything which is not physically present. Okay. Anything which is not physically present is basically called as virtual. And can anyone give an example of a virtual instrument? Virtual instrument. Instrument is nothing but a tool that is allowing you to do anything. Okay, so it can be of any application. So it's an instrument which is virtually present. Can you give an example of a virtual instrument? Can anybody give an example of a virtual instrument? Have you ever come across a virtual instrument before? Trust me, everyone has come across a virtual instrument. Where? No idea? Okay, let me try to show it. So here, what is this? What is this? I believe this is a calendar. Okay, that is a clock. This is a Windows 10 version. I mean, if you see Windows 7 version, you'll have a clock, actual clock. I mean, a digital. I mean, analog clock will be there. Okay, so do you think that is actually a physical instrument? That's an instrument that's showing a time and date every time. Okay, so do you think it's a physical instrument? No, not really. It's not a physical instrument. It's a virtual instrument, actually speaking. Okay, I'll just make it into from the current slide. Yeah. Yes, so that's an example of a virtual instrument. There are many more virtual instrument kind of things. For example, your calci you have in your computer, that is a virtual instrument. Your keyboard, you have a keyboard, that is also a virtual instrument. Yes, even your mobile, actually speaking, your mobile is one example of a virtual instrument. The reason is, it actually has some virtual items. Like, for example, how many of you play games? You play games, so for example, Clash of Clans kind of games and everything, right? You have your own village, but it's not a physical village. It's not really present there. It is actually a simulated kind of thing. Okay, so that's actually is an example of a virtual instrument. Okay, in other words, if you see, do you believe that all your application you work in computer, do you think it's a virtual instrument? No? For example, let me say I'm just working with this PPT. Okay, I'm working with this PPT. At the rightmost corner, what do you see this? It's a closed button. It's a closed button. Okay, what do you mean by button? You know what is a button, right? In your keyboard you have a button. That's actually a button, a physical button. Is this a physical button? No, not at all. Every application has this button, am I right? Every application you open in Windows, you have this, or Windows or any other OS, it doesn't matter. You will surely have a button. Okay, so those buttons are nothing but virtual instrument. Actually speaking, they are virtual instrument. Okay, so which means that anything you're trying to work with your computer, software oriented, they are virtual instruments. Am I right? Frankly speaking, no. Okay, so when I say virtual instrument, it's not actually about software. It's an integration of hardware along with software. The reason is, if I give a software, let me say the Windows OS. Okay, these are all working with Windows operating system. Am I right? So let me say I'm just trying to provide you this software in my pen drive. Okay, I'll give it to you. Can you access that? Let me say I'll give, I mean, what is that? This application, some application I try to develop and give you. Okay, in a pen drive. The software is in the pen drive. Okay, when I give it to you, can you use it? Yes, it is not actually possible to use it. The reason is you need an external hardware to install that software and then start using it. Okay, ultimately when I want to use a virtual instrument, you need two things. One is a hardware which allows the software to get installed over it, and the software which actually consists of the programmatical information into it. Okay, so it's a combination or integration of hardware and a software. That's actually a virtual instrument. Now I'll ask one question. We'll see. I have a phone. Okay, this is a smartphone. Okay, this is a normal smartphone we have. Okay, so how many of you believe a smartphone is one kind of a virtual instrument? How many of you believe that? How many of you believe this? You believe this? Why? Why do you believe? And how many of you don't believe it? I want to, address those people actually, because they already believed it. I don't want to prove anything, frankly speaking. The people who have not believed it, why don't you think it's a virtual instrument? It's physically present. That's the reason. Maybe. Frankly speaking, when you say virtual instrument, I told you it's a combination of a hardware plus a software. Okay, I have a Micromax hardware. It can be any make. Okay, so I have a Micromax hardware, and what is the software being installed? It's a Android software being installed into it. So which means it's a combination of a hardware and along with the software. Am I right? So now do you believe it's a phone? It's a virtual instrument? Yes, that's the reason, frankly speaking, you can access many more things like, your games, your dial pad and everything is actually possible. Getting it? Exactly correct. That is also one more way. My voice is actually physical here, but I just convert it into signals and I just try to bring it to your, phones, and I just try to, provide it as a noise. Actually, it's a noise. Okay, because I just do some amplification and everything comes into picture. Getting it? Yes? Fine. So one more thing I want to just put it here. So basically, it's a virtual instrumentation. Labview is basically laboratory virtual instrumentation, which means that these virtual instrumentation, what we try to develop, okay, they are going to be useful in your laboratory purpose, in your engineering platform. That is all it actually means. So when someone asks you what is a Labview, right, you can say, put it in reverse, it's a platform for engineers where you develop your virtual instrumentation for your lab purpose. Very simple. Frankly speaking, this is the actual definition of Labview, and here a quotation, a very important thing, it is for all your engineers. Okay, trust me, one or the other way, everyone can use this in your engineering. Okay, you'll come to know this in depth. That's the reason I was just trying to stress something like these are the different domains we try to cover. These are different domains we try to cover. So, and also these are different types of, domain-based industries that are using Labview. Okay, if you see there is somewhere, do you think there is, a relation between a Boeing and a Kodak? Boeing actually works with flight designs. Okay, Kodak works with, camera design. Do you think there's any collaboration between them or any relation between them? No, nothing. Okay, but still, Labview serves them. Okay, the reason is it has the ability to serve multi-domains. That's the reason it is possible to reach engineering fields. Okay, fine. Coming to this, let me more specific. Labview is a graphical programming language. Okay, so what does it mean by graphical programming language? Any idea? Graphical programming language. Any idea about that? Exactly correct. Usually you try to do a programming, like C. You know C? Everyone would have come across C, C++, Java also to some extent, even MATLAB, because you people might be good at MATLAB because you are from, circuit branches, right, usually. There, what you do is you try to develop your code in a textual format. For example, if you see your C program, right, you want to add or if you want to do any application, right, what you do is, hash include open your braces stdio.h, standardio.h, and then conio.h, then you try to give your commands based on a textual format. The difference is that, okay, so basically there are many programming languages that works based on textual codes, okay, textual instructions, whereas Labview works on a pictorial representation where you will be designing your code by drawing. Okay, you drag and drop it, pick and place it, or just do the connections, your Labview starts working. Ultimately, the amount of time you'll be spending to learn this or to master this might be very less comparatively. So the amount of confidence you gain on Labview, that will be even, usually more than, any other programming language. Ultimately, the reason is, number one, it is very easy to manipulate it because it is not a textual programming language. Okay, so it's a graphical programming, number one. Number two, it doesn't take any syntax. Trust me, Labview doesn't take any syntax. It actually works with the way you combine the sequences. Okay, you combine the flow of the execution. So it all depends on that. Okay, we'll be working in depth. Don't worry about that. Okay, we'll be working in depth. So that's what I wanted to say. It's a graphical programming language. I'll try to show you the difference between them, a graphical programming language and a textual programming language if possible. Okay, I'll just try to show a demonstration on that. Okay, and apart from that, Labview supports these many desktop platforms. Actually, like your Linux, Macintosh, Windows, these are some basic desktop, OS we have habituated to use. So Labview supports them. Apart from these desktops in your computer, you can also use your own processors, your own defined OS kind of thing through these methods. Okay, your embedded system like RT, real time. Okay, then your FPGA and your microprocessor controller units. Okay, so it also serves the already existing OS or any chips, or you can design your own. You can just give the application according to your requirement. Like VLSI design, embedded platform. Okay, so FPGA, RT, RTOS, everything is possible through Labview. And one thing is, as possible, I'll be trying to show you even FPGA and RTOS. Okay, because the hardware which I want to try to work with IOT technology, this hardware named MyRio, that's what will be circulating to you, you'll be using it. This hardware actually has a feature above this. It can also serve as your FPGA and RT. That is also possible. I'll be trying to work on that. Okay, so I'll just move to the next one. This is the difference I told you I can be showing you. So this Labview, actually, this is the Labview program. Forget about that, we'll come to that later. So most of you have not used it, right? How many of you have seen this Windows before? 1, 2, 3. That is all? Fine. So this is actually Labview window. We'll be working on this depth from now for 2 days. Forget about that. Come to this one. This is basically your C program. This is basically a C program. So can anyone judge what is this program doing? What is this program doing? It's addition of two numbers. Frankly speaking, you can see here, it is C equal to A plus B. It's addition of two numbers. Frankly speaking, this is the most technical part of this entire code. Am I right? It's the most technical part, or application oriented part. No, I can't say technical part because everything is technical here. So this is more application oriented thing. Apart from this C equal to A plus B, what are these lines doing? These are support codes to allow your inputs and outputs to get configured according to your requirement. Okay, so you specify all the information about the inputs and outputs variables, based on your variables, and then you configure what is you want to actually do. Okay, so coming to this is a Java program. What is the difference between C and Java, you feel? Don't say color. I know it's black and this is blue, not the color I'm talking about. Yes, exactly correct. The number of lines involved in this programming is drastically reduced. If this is, let me say, approximately taking 15 lines, it is taking around 9 lines of execution. Now, so the time taken to execute this for just addition of 2 numbers, trust me, this is first standard max. What is 5 plus 4? 5 in the mind, 4 in the finger. That's max. Okay, so such a basic max. This is taking this much program. Think about a very big application development like your IRCTC tactile booking, your other application like ATM machine designing and kind of things, right? Where actually they work with user interface. Okay, think about the amount of code it will be involving. Okay, so now let me just see one. What is this? What is this? Any idea? Exactly correct. For this Labview C program you write, when you execute this program, this is the output you might be getting. Okay, so it's a black screen where it will say, please enter the number 1. Okay, or please enter the number 2. Okay, and the executed output is this. Okay, so this is the output screen. Actually speaking, this is the output screen. This is the programming screens. Okay, content in the programming screen. Okay, let me come to Labview. So we have 2 windows. Okay, this one at the top is your output screen. Okay, so where you'll be feeding your input and taking your output exactly like this. So this one and this one are same. Okay, where you'll feed the input and take the output, where you feed the input and take the output. But you can see here it is graphical, whereas here you can see this. Here it is textually represented. Here it is here graphically represented. So you'll type your content and you'll give the output. Okay, coming to this, actually this is actually the programming area. Okay, so for this code is replaced with this code in Labview. Frankly speaking, right, this is the technical part, the actual operational part, right? So C equal to A plus B. Frankly speaking, we work only on that. So other textual support codes will not be used in Labview. That's the actual highlight of Labview. Okay, so that's why I told you Labview doesn't take syntax. I told you, right? This is the reason. I'll not be working on any of the syntax. What I'll do is C equal to A plus B. Here you can see the input is X, output is Y. Input is X and Y, output is X plus Y. And I need an operator, I'll just pass the data and I'll just do it. And I draw it on Labview. Very simple. Within a minute I can just finish this. Getting it? So ultimately, even in your PhD works and even in your research works, actually speaking, right, you will not be working anything apart from what is needed. So you have some application to develop, you know technically what is supposed to happen, you will be designing only on that. Provided you should have some knowledge on Labview environment that you will be learning within half an hour or 1 hour through me today. Okay, so ultimately this makes more sense to go towards Labview, at least for the preserving time and everything. Yes, and trust me, amount of code, frankly speaking, we'll never make mistake on this, frankly speaking. Okay, we never make mistake on this. Actually, we make all the mistakes on this. Debugging, everything will come into picture. That makes our life more hectic as a programmer. Because I have just been through, a MATLAB program. Now I'm just, in Labview sector. First, I just started my career with MATLAB, image processing. Then I just moved to Labview for, some good reasons. Okay, I just moved here. So I actually can compare all these programming languages. I believe this is far better. And not only Labview, I'm not actually talking about Labview, any graphical programming language is actually better. Okay, for example, PLC and SCADA, right, the ladder logic that you draw, right, frankly speaking, you just try to put your circuits and you just try to, connect them all and you'll just check the output. In simulation, and even SCADA, try to do the same programming language, current your hardware and everything is going to work, frankly speaking. So that makes your life more comfortable, be more productive and be more efficient towards your work, what you're trying to do, frankly. Okay, so I'll just move to the next slide. Okay, this is one example of a virtual instrument I'm trying to show. So in the very first slide I was trying to mention, okay, so it's a virtual instrumentation which will serve your lab purpose in your engineering domain. That's what I was trying to tell you. So moving towards here, this is one example of such. Okay, rather than using a desktop, okay, so I can use a virtual instrument. Getting it? So this is actually designed in Labview. You can see it's Labview. It is designed in Labview. You can see it's actually the same. Getting it? Yes. So then coming to this one example of a digital multimeter. Okay, the same. So the different types of examples they are trying to show you. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, now maybe we'll go for a break because I'm going to start up with Labview. Okay, I'm just going to, once we come back, we'll just start with the slide. From here we'll be having a hands-on. Okay, from here we'll be having hands-on. Thanks for resisting my theory sessions. Okay, thank you so much. And with this I'll just wind up with my PPTs. We'll be start working on a hands-on. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. We can have 10 to 15 minutes of break and we'll just gather together. Thank you so much.